Hello everyone, welcome to Screen Scream. I'm Viola. In today's episode, we're going to talk about movies that are related to old days. Not good old days, because at least one of them is really scary. But I've seen the other three myself, and I highly recommend it. So first of all, let's listen to the introduction of the first new movie we're going to talk about today. Air follows the history of shoe salesman Sonny Vaccaro and how he led Nike in its pursuit of the greatest athlete in the history of basketball, Michael Jordan.
What's a Converse?
NBA All-Star shoe.
There's nothing cool about Nike.
You would have to have a pretty
The first new movie we're going to talk about today is Air. Although the introduction is pretty short, it's one of the movies that I wanted to watch the most recently, and I've done it already. I have been looking forward to Air for a long time because I'm a big Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. And this is also the very first time that Ben Affleck directs a movie that's starred by Matt Damon. The story is actually pretty touching. It tells the story of a team that doesn't play by the rule, that risks everything they have, and a mother who knows exactly how talented and worthy her son is. And last but not least, of course, the greatest basketball genius to be in the world. In Air, Matt Damon played the Nike executive Sonny Vaccaro. Ben Affleck played the co-founder of Nike, Phil Knight. Jason Bateman played Rob Strasser. Chris Messina played David Falk, aka Michael Jordan's agent. Matthew Mahir played Peter Moore, who passed away last year, right before this movie was going to start shooting. Marlon Wayans played George Raveling, one of Michael Jordan's coaches. Chris Tucker played Howard White, and Viola Davis played Dolores Jordan, that is Michael Jordan's mom. I have to say that after I watched Air, I think this is the best movie I've seen so far this year. Well, I haven't seen John Wick, so I think I have the right to say this is the best movie this year. When I was at the movie theater, I heard a couple's conversation. The guy said there won't be a lot of people watching Air because youngsters nowadays only watch Curry play. They don't care about Michael Jordan. And I was like, well, first, of course, I'm a basketball fan, so maybe that's not fair, and maybe I'm not a young person anymore. But second, Michael Jordan is not my generation. I've never seen Michael Jordan play okay. And after Kevin Garnett retired, I don't really follow NBA that much. I'm here to watch the story of Air Jordan, the story of the shoe, not about Michael Jordan. And I think some people who think they're going to watch the story of Michael Jordan, they usually get disappointed. And I think that's the only main reason why Air gets bad comments. But anyway, I recommend you to watch Air. It's the best movie I think so far this year. And now it's time to move on to the second new movie we're going to talk about today, which is the only one I'm going to talk about that I haven't seen. Let's check it out. Evil Dead 2. Having survived the horrors of the mystical Necronomicon by the skin of his teeth in The Evil Dead, a half-mad Ash struggles to ward off the all-powerful demonic influence of the cursed forest. The evil never sleeps, and before long, a mortal mistake will bring everyone back to square one, including the late professor's daughter, Annie, her partner, Ed, and a pair of unsuspecting locals. Now, as the unholy passages invite ancient dark spirits into this world, paving the way for the advent of pure evil, sanity is at stake. What have they unleashed onto the earth? When fresh human souls are the ultimate prize, what can stop the things that were and shall be again? Okay, the second new movie we're going to talk about today is Evil Dead 2. A horror. Now you know why it's the only movie that I'm going to talk about today that I haven't seen. But before we start talking about this one, I just realized that I forgot to mention why Air is a movie related to old days. Because the movie's inspired by the true story of the creation of Air Jordan, and it happened in 1984. That's why. And the second movie, Evil Dead 2, apparently it's a classic re-release, so you can tell the reason. But I guess why it's re-released right now because the latest one is going to be released soon. So if you like horror movies or you're just a big fan of Evil Dead, I recommend you to watch Evil Dead 2 once again. But back to the reason why I want to introduce this movie, since I don't hate, I just don't dare to watch horror. Because Evil Dead is the signature of the famous director Sam Raimi. If you don't know who he is, if you don't watch horror movies like me, he's the director of the Spider-Man trilogy, and he also directed Doctor Strange 2. Actually, Evil Dead is a franchise. It includes 5 movies, 1 TV series, so I guess you can call it Evil Dead universe, now that everybody's talking about universe. And Evil Dead 2 is the best. It's the masterpiece of this universe. It got nominated at the Saturn Awards in 1988 for Best Horror, Best Makeup, and Best Special Effects. I would say these 3 awards are the highest accolades for a horror. Besides what we heard in the introduction, actually on the other side, Professor Raymond's daughter Annie is going to the scene with something very scary. I'm not sure whether she's the rescuer or she's going to summon more dead or more spirits. I can only tell you, this is the classic horror in the film history. Many other movies after it paid tribute to it. So if you like horror, trust me, don't miss it. Alright, before we move on to Top 007 and talk about 2 other movies that are related to old times, let's review what we had from last week first. We had 2 top 3s, Scream 6 and Suzume. Top 2 was John Wick Chapter 4. And top 1, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I can tell you that there's some shuffle this week on the chart. Let's listen to top 7 to top 4 first. Top 5, Creed 3.
You don't remember me, huh?
Walkers, the movie. Top 4, Scream 6.
Please help us. You have to just down there.
What's in line here, girl?
Can
Suzume.
네.
There is only one new face on this part of the charts this week, so of course we're going to talk about it, although it's a Taiwanese movie. Yes, that is Walkers the movie. I don't think it's going to be released in North America, but if you want to watch it, I'm pretty sure it's going to be released on streaming services later, maybe in half year or a year. This movie version is the spin-off of its TV series of the same name. It was really good. So that's part of the reason why some people are disappointed with the movie. I personally think, of course, it's not as good as the TV series. There are some silly scenes in the movie and it doesn't make sense. But it's okay. I mean, it's not a bad movie, but it's not as touching as the TV series. So let me briefly introduce the TV series. This TV series tells the stories of workers. They're either true stories or things that would truly happen. I mean, it's not made up anyway. So after the TV series was released, many children of workers expressed their gratitude for the crew for making this TV series. However, The movie version focused on how the three main characters met each other in TV series, which means the background of the movie is set 11 years before the TV series. This is why it's related to old times. You can tell that the characters aren't from the same generation we see in the TV series. But the thing is, it focuses on how they met, and it's not necessarily related to Walker's life. But I will still recommend you watch it if you've seen the TV series and you like it. Okay, now let's move on to top 3 to top 1. Top 3, 65.
Send help.
Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves.
Figure it out over a drink?
Probably best.
You need cooling.
They give us
Top 2, Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
Now everyone's kind of like doing their own thing, and I'm the only one trying to keep it together.
Top 1, John Wick, Chapter 4.
I don't sit at the table.
Your family does. Please pray for me.
Okay, among these 4 movies, there are 2 that I've already seen, but we've talked about Shazam, Fury of the Gods the previous weeks. So today, I'd like to talk about Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves once again. First of all, it's a fantasy. So the crew needs to create fantastic beasts. Well, not the Harry Potter fantastic beasts, but the crew really did a lot of work creating a lot of unique fantastic beasts, including the chest monster, Mimic, wood elves, gnomes, gelatinous cube, dragon of course, owl bear, brain eater, etc. A lot anyway. I mean, D&D players will definitely recognize all the monsters inside, and even people like me who haven't played D&D ever would be intrigued by all the monsters. I mean, I can't wait to meet all these monsters. Well, I don't really want to meet them. I'm just saying that it's so interesting. Like my professor, who's a big fan of D&D, said that it's so exciting to recognize the Easter eggs in the movie. And even non-players like me will be able to get to know the fantastic beasts in D&D through this movie. Especially Owlbear. I'd like to talk about Owlbear. An owlbear is a mix of a giant owl and a giant bear. It has white feather and beak. When they were shooting the movie, the crew put the head they made on a stick, so the actors would be able to look at the right place. This is actually the similar technique they did with The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings. And actually, the whole shooting process is like recruiting adventurers. The director and writer partners, Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly, are very good at combining comedy and superhero movies. They not only express their passion towards games and express their talents, but also create dialogues that are both touching and humorous, create characters that people are not easy to forget, and dangers that are unexpected. Chris Pine, who's the executive producer and also the protagonist, said that the style of the movie is to combine different tones and different colors and create a happy movie. And in that case, I think they did a pretty good job. It's really good. So basically, all the movies that I talked about today, I recommend. Highly recommend. Well, maybe not Evil Dead. If you don't dare to watch horrors just like me, don't go watch it. But the other 3, definitely go watch it. And I will see you next week. I'm Viola. See you next time.